Are you scared to go talk to girls, like a random girl on the street? Does that make you scared? I think the answer is yes. And the reason I can say that is because, honestly, right now, like, I'd be scared to go do it. So, I'm in a relationship. I haven't had to do this for, 6 months or whatever, right? So for me, I'm out of practice. And chances are, especially if you're single, you're probably fucking out of practice too, unless you're out going out to clubs or regularly, or making it a point to have conversation with girls, regularly when you see them or whatever, or just people in general. If you chat up everybody, it's not any different to just chat up a girl too, and that carries over, right? So some people do that. But if you're not doing that, and most people don't because that's hard, it's likely that you're out of practice too. And so it's going to be scary. So it's scary if you're out of practice because you feel the rust. You're not as relaxed. It's a little bit intimidating because the person could accept you or reject you or whatever. And this, right? So it registers as you're doing this. They say if you don't approach a girl within the first 3 seconds of seeing her, if she's a stranger, that you will get too much in your head and you might as well just forget about it. So you have to see him, just go. So it's scary if you're out of practice. But the other reason it's scary is because we all have this ego story going on in our heads. What's your ego story? It's probably like, if you're a guy, it's probably like, I'm the shit. Girls like me. I had those 2 hot girlfriends from back in high school or whatever. Therefore, I'm the kind of guy that dates hot girls. But then maybe like your actual love life right now is shit. I'm just making a characterization right now because the thing is that if your ego story says all these good things, and then you go talk to a girl and she rejects you, now that is at stake. Now like your fucking like coping mechanism, your ego, your reality coping mechanism. Because we all need it because reality is hard, life's tough. Now it's threatened, and it's like that was the thing. It was just like you were hanging on by a string by. A lot of us like are just coping in life, because it's really hard. So we're just barely making it through. Like we're just barely, having just a little bit of disposable income at the paycheck. Maybe we have like almost no hobbies. Maybe we're just like playing video games or watching TV or whatever just to get us through. And it's like we're just like barely making it through. And the feeling inside of our body is not necessarily a good one. And so if we go talk to a girl and then she rejects us, now we can't afford that. Like we're just hanging by a string. It's like we can't afford that extra negative feeling. Maybe the boss, criticized us at work, or maybe one of your friends like fucked with you and it like said something that like fucked with you or something, or whatever. And it's like, can you really afford the extra negative experience of going to talk to some random girl and then having her reject you? It's costly. It's scary, right? So if that's the case, if that's you, where it's like you just can't even afford the extra negative experience, which you will have, because the very first time you just go talk to a random girl that you see on the street, she's probably going to reject you because you're not relaxed enough at that point, unless you're one of these socialites or whatever, in which case this isn't anything new for you. But she's probably going to reject you. So if you can't afford that, it's a call to action to start working on your life. It means start getting in the gym, start eating right, start making friends, start doing less of the shit that spends your energy and your time or wastes it, and spend it on something good. AKA like cat food. So it's a call to action in terms of personal development, because you can't afford that extra negative experience. It's like you can't fucking do it. You can't get out there unless you're willing to take a few hits. But you have to get out there if you want the result, right? So you're probably telling yourself, God, like life would be so much better if I could just, like get the girl or whatever. But you'll never get there unless you can afford to take the hits. So, nobody wants the rejection for the ego story, because it dismantles the ego. The ego is what helps us cope with our life from day to day, nobody wants to take that hit. Well, incidentally, you might have to go talk to 10 girls just to get the one that accepts you, right? So that's like 9 hits. Can you take 9 hits? But you have to. That's the thing. It's like you have to build this skill. If you don't build this skill, you can't go through enough girls to meet that one that like is really incredible. Because the chances are that you meet like a really amazing girl by just, putting yourself out there just a few times. Probably what's going to happen is you're going to latch onto the girl that's like sort of decent, that's sort of attractive, that sort of likes you, and that doesn't fucking cut it, man. Like you get into relationships with those girls and that shit goes south after a couple years, and then you wasted a couple years of your life. Okay? So you have to get to a place where you can take the hits and just get used to rejection. You just got to get used to rejection so you can go through the volume, And there's a fucking pot of gold at the other side of the rainbow. There really is, because, I mean, that's what I've been through, And I've been all the way at like step 1 of the rainbow. I've been all the way at the beginning where it's like you look around and like nobody likes you, like you suck at talking to just not just girls, but just like people in general. And you don't feel good inside, and you don't have any like real skills or whatever. I've been all the way over there too. I've been on both sides. So anyway, start building yourself up. Get to a place where you can take the hits, and then build up. The last thing I want to say was that you don't have to do all this shit in person either. Okay, so you can meet women online. Like one of the things I like to tell guys is like, start adding random people on Facebook and get yourself up to get your confidence to the point where you can send like a short video, send that out, and then you'll start drawing a lot more responses that way. But when you do that, it only works if you're confident in your video. And then keep in mind, you have to meet these same women out, at a restaurant somewhere, at least in the beginning, right? So you gotta sit across the dinner table from them. You're gonna be nervous if you're not used to doing it, right? So you have to at least fuck up a few times. But again, you really can't avoid the personal contact, right? So don't use the online thing as a crutch. So anyway, at the end of the day, fill your cup up, let it overflow, and from that place, really, I mean, you only need it like halfway full to just start trying the stuff, right? And then you just keep filling it as you go, and then it'll work out. It's just one of those areas where you have to be fucking brave, just like anything else, So get out there and do it.